Welcome back, Guardian. So when it comes to talking about weapons and speed clearing, there's a lot of sensitive ears because there's a ton of passionate players, and I 100% get that. But when it comes to my channel, I'm teaching people how to become beast, and there's certain weapons that are good at it, and certain weapons that are horrible at it, and I don't like to use weapons that have limitations, such as Randy's throwing knife, or such as a bow, or by bygones. All those weapons have horrible limitations when it comes to speed clearing. So when it comes to Nameless Midnight with explosive rounds, it's the best choice you can use for a primary for dozens of reasons that we're going to talk about other than time to kill. When it comes to your range, or when it comes to Void Incinerators, I'm going to show you in just a second how you can actually do damage underneath the Void Incinerator shield and kill them and blow them up without having to use your energy or your power weapon to take those shields off. When it comes to anything like a pulse rifle, the farther back you are in range and console, the more kick it's going to have and the less crit shots you're going to be landing, and that's one of the limitations that I don't like, aside from it being a horrible close quarters combat weapon, which is no pulse rifle in the game is going to be great for close quarters combat. It's just not going to do the kind of work that an explosive round weapon will do or that an SMG will do. Like this shot right here with this scout rifle, any range is basically open game for me. When it comes to these incinerators, where I can blast multiple targets at one time, or shoot around this barrel without blowing it up unless he blows up because of the explosive rounds, or right here, watch this against this shielded guy and me jumping around in the air. If I'm using a pulse rifle, I'm not going to be that accurate when I'm trying to get out of the way and not get blasted by that void shot. I can still jump around in the air and land on crit and be more consistent with my shots. And here's an example of the Void Incinerator, and this is not because of the anti-barrier properties. This is an explosive round property. When you do Void Incinerators, you shoot through their shield, and it actually blows them up without you having to use any energy weapon or, like I said, any power weapon, so you save ammo. So when it comes to this Nightfall, I don't even have to use a Void weapon at all because I can use my primary to blow all of them up. Here in a second, I'm going to shoot somebody that has a red bar shield on, just to show you that it's not an anti-barrier property and it's an explosive round property. But you can see right here, like any range that I have with the scout rifle, and this is actually a close range scope on it, so it's not even the farthest range scout rifle scope that you can put on it, and it still hits plenty of range without any fall off. And you'll see right here, when I shoot this solar shielded enemy, the damage starts taking off from the shield and doesn't go under his shield, so it's just specific for those Void Incinerators. So just because it doesn't work on every shielded target doesn't mean that it's still not good, but I know that if I'm ever versus a Void Incinerator, or if I'm ever versus an ad where I gotta do hip fire shots such as right here to stagger and to take the kill, a bow won't do this, a pulse rifle won't do this because it won't have enough body splash damage to kill them before they kill me. And right here I can shoot multiple targets, and I'm damaging multiple targets right here just by shooting that one ad. And then right here, all these ads that are stacked up together, including this Void Shield Incinerator, I'm doing all this shared damage, weakening all these ads at one time, that you're not going to get that time to kill out of any other weapon except for an explosive round weapon or a scout rifle such as this. If I was using a bow, I gotta wait to draw it back and then pull the trigger. Even if I have delayed explosives, it's still not going to do as fast enough damage because of the time between shots. Right here, I'm damaging 3 ads at once without having to waste any of my other ammo. I can just sit there and get in their face with this hip fire grip and stagger him before he melees me. I got a guy behind me, but I'm going to be able to stagger him as well before he can kill me. Like, there's so many properties that you get out of speed clear weapons, and that's really all that I'm trying to teach on this channel. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or tell them that their weapons are garbage or anything, but when it comes to speed clearing ads, and when you learn the skill and the tactics and strategies to go along with these beast weapons, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. They give you free game for any situation or anywhere on the battlefield. But anyways, I've just, been doing that for a really long time. I know that those who do like to learn speed clearing and beast tactics and all this other stuff that I talk about on this channel, I know you get a lot of knowledge from this. And I know that a lot of other people will be like, well, speed clearing ads is really easy to do, but then they get on your fire team and they're left with nothing but your crumbs because of all the strategies and tips that you've learned. Then they understand the skill involved and how your weapon choice is really vital and really crucial when it comes to becoming beast. Now let's talk about these anti-barrier weapons using the Blast Furnace versus Nameless Midnight. So you see on the first two with the Blast Furnace, it was a 3-second on crit to take their shield off. And then with Nameless Midnight, the first one was 2 seconds, 2.07 to be exact. I'm using the editor to know exact times on this. You'll see that the second shot, it's going to be a 2-second flat by taking the shield off. I'm going to do the body shot damage next, but right here I'm just doing the crit shot first, just to show you how Blast Furnace really isn't the greatest option when it comes to not only speed clearing, but anti-barrier champions and overall just damage together. That one took 3.08 seconds to take the shield off, which those milliseconds really add up big time Against this ad right here, it's going to be 2.04 seconds to take the shield off. And then we'll go ahead and just finish him off with a machine gun. But it just goes back to how these milliseconds matter, especially when you're standing toe-to-toe and you don't have any cover to go in front of you, which we're going to show this again. I'm going to use the body shot, then we're going to go back to some crit shot damage, then we're going to go to some unstoppable champions. But you'll see against this shielded target and the body shot damage, it actually took 3 seconds, which is what it took for the blast furnace to do crit shot damage. And then we go to the blast furnace, and then we'll see again with the body shot damage, and it's going to take even slower time, 3.9, almost 4 seconds just to take the shield off of the body. That's if you're in a situation where you don't have very much cover to get, or you have to do like, you know, some kind of glitch around some object to where they can't shoot you, but you can shoot them kind of situation. But right there, milliseconds matter, and he dead. Now we're going to go back to the Nameless Midnight. I'm going to stand toe-to-toe with him again and show you how these milliseconds really do matter. Standing toe-to-toe, and right before he kills me, you see that I got that 2.5 second mixing in crit and body damage before he kills me. Also want to mention that both weapons are the exact same light, and of course these times will vary depending on what light you are, and depending on whether you're in a master or legendary type of Nightfall. This is only legendary because my light is a little bit too low to do master right now, and it pretty much can't take a shield off. But let's do the unstoppable champions now. The time to kill, the overall damage output. I'm actually going to be using a blast furnace that has a 48 round magazine instead of a 40 round, so it has more rounds than normal to do even more damage, and we're going to see how it stacks up to the explosive round Nameless Midnight. I'm going to zoom in to show you the damage and where it's at on the Incendior word, but it's kind of like glitchy because that's just what it does pretty much, but it's on the other side of that O for Incendior. So you can kind of see it when I zoom out a little bit. Now we're going to do the Nameless Midnight explosive round, do its first sequence of damage when we first do this first stagger, and then we'll see where it's at using the 16 rounds versus 48 rounds. And you can see that it's at the I on Eeyore for Incendior, basically. And then we'll zoom it out so you can kind of see it a little bit more. So it does a little more damage than the 48 rounds with the blast furnace. Now we're going to do a stagger again and do another 48 rounds. So it kind of shocked me because I figured the total magazine clip should have done more damage. But right there we're at the other side of the N. And we'll zoom it out a little bit, go back to Nameless Midnight explosive round, do its second sequence to see where the damage is going to be. And you'll see that it again does more damage. So the time to kill with explosive rounds actually is more than what a 48 round blast furnace will actually do on the very end of the E for unstoppable. And if it's doing that much more damage than a 48 round blast furnace, then you can imagine using Randy's throwing knife or using a Bygones that it's going to be smoking the damage if it's smoking it that bad versus a blast furnace. And we'll see again, the blast furnace, it's at the P, the second P on unstoppable, which again, if we're using Randy's throwing knife or any other type of weapon, it's going to do way less damage than the total magazine of 48 rounds. Then we'll do the explosive round again, and it's going to leave us at the beginning of the O for unstoppable. Go back to the blast furnace, see where it ends up at. So we're always doing the damage phase ahead of the Nameless Midnight. We started out doing the damage with the blast furnace, so it's going to be right before he dies, a very tiny pinch of health left, right at the start of his health meter pretty much. It's almost non-existent. And then we'll go ahead and just finish him off with the Nameless Midnight. So it's going to take us an extra clip or extra reload just to take the kill using blast furnace, which is going to make Nameless Midnight, again, the overall winner. This actually isn't even going to be a part 3 to this because I'm going to wrap it up all with this video to make it a little bit longer, just to kind of just move on to some other topics, some more build videos and stuff like that, some other just weapon, you know, suggestion, loadout videos, whatever you want to call it. So you're saving time to kill no matter how you're looking at it. The blast furnace just really doesn't keep up. And when it comes to, again, vehicle damage, we're going to start with the Thrasher and then go to a tank just to see how many clips it takes to take out any type of vehicle, starting with this Thrasher right here. So I'm going to go ahead and let you know, this took so long to kill. This Thrasher is actually about to just ride out in a minute because I can't kill him in enough time, and I actually start taking so much damage, which is another thing you have to think about too, how much damage you're taking when you're doing time to kills, because as you're trying to kill one target, you're getting chipped away from other damage from all other angles when you're doing harder type activities, and you have a ton of adds around, such as right here, this orange bar, and I can't even stagger him before he gets up to me, which Nameless Midnight would have staggered him well before he came up and meleeed me. And it goes back to just the time to kill and taking chip damage. The longer you have to hang out doing damage, the more damage you're going to be taking. So it's really important to use weapons that don't leave you out to dry and leave you taking a ton of damage. Now we're going to go to this Thrasher who doesn't fly away. He actually just stays put the entire time. It's going to take us 4 clips just to take them out. I actually fast forwarded this to make it a little bit quicker, but it was 4 clips pretty much. Now we go to Nameless Midnight and do the same exact test on the first Thrasher, the one that actually left the scene of the crime, and just see how many clips it's going to take. And it actually takes 2 1/4 clips. So 2 clips and then 4 shots of another one, making it a quarter a clip pretty much. So 2 1/4 versus 4 and a little bit more on a clip, using the more high-powered blast furnace. I know it doesn't sound like much, but for real, don't discount what I just said about that time to kill, because the faster you can get the job done, the less damage you're going to be taking, which equals overall survivability. And if you're playing rough and aggressive and trying to go beast mode, you need those kills out of the way so you're not taking damage to end up getting yourself killed. It's a really important tip to know that, and that's another reason why I'm telling you the explosive round Nameless Midnight is going to be overall the greater choice this entire season. It's not going to be Randy's throwing knife, which would have taken way longer to take that Thrasher out, including this tank right here. You can see the kill clip damage and the stock damage, and then the fall off, which I averaged out because it was so many different type of numbers for different ranges the tank was going. So I just averaged it out to 1800 and 364, and then you get the Nameless Midnight, which doesn't have any damage fall off because it's a scout rifle and it can go a really long ways. It has 1836 to the wheels and then 866 to the frame, but it gets faster DPS, spitting its damage out much quicker. And like I said, using a Randy's throwing knife or using a Bygones or using these other type of weapons, I'm not meaning to keep bringing those weapon types up, but just reading the comments and stuff like that, that's a really, really important tip, because you're going to be facing stuff like this all throughout the game, and big targets and big vehicle targets and stuff like that, including this splash damage versus all these dogs. You're going to have a lot of targets that are bunched up, and you're going to appreciate this staggering damage and this blowback damage and all this shared damage that you're getting on these dogs. It's really important, and this is one of the million benefits that these explosive rounds are going to give you versus any other type of weapon that doesn't have the explosive round property on it. There's dozens of different combat scenarios in every Nightfall and every situation in the game that you do, and versus these dogs is just one of those dozens pretty much. And when it comes to time to kill, going back to that, you're going to kill all these targets much quicker, though it might not seem like much because it's just a bunch of red bar dogs. But the faster you can get through these situations, the faster your overall time is completed, and the higher your kill count is going to jump up on top of this. So all these situations, you got to think, Izanagi's is not going to be good for that situation. A blast furnace is not going to be good for this situation, because the time to kill all these little targets, and even this orange bar right here, he actually got away before I could even kill him, but the time to kill using that Nameless Midnight, he would have already been dead that 5 seconds, 6 seconds ago now, but I'm having to waste more time by going back to him when he would have already just been out of the way, you know what I mean? And all those times and all those seconds and all these kill numbers and stuff are just going to be going away and out of your grasp when somebody else who is equipped right would have already taken all these dogs out while you're still trying to work on them. And that's really what I'm trying to get at with this channel and with speed killing and becoming beast, is overall kills, overall time to kills, better weapon choice loadouts for more combat situations. The explosive round Nameless Midnight is just one of the top dogs this DLC because it's an anti-barrier weapon, so you have to use an anti-barrier weapon. So why not use the greater choice that handles the majority in most situations that you're going to be in? You might lose a few seconds on anti-barriers and bigger targets and stuff like that, but the amount of time you save on all these dozens of little situations that you take for granted, you're going to notice all that stuff speeding up and your kill counts jumping through the roof versus somebody who's not equipped right and ready for battle the way that you're going to be equipped. But on the real though, I really enjoy this game. I enjoy helping all you players out, and just because some gun isn't the most popular one that's online right now doesn't mean it's not a better choice. And I'm only trying to get new beast tactics out and other ways you can look at the game that will just make you become a better player overall. And I'm telling you from personal experience and from just a lot of years of speed killing, you're going to eventually get to that point to where you want to use just any weapon and be free in all situations of combat. And these are the guns that will do it for you. Explosive round Nameless Midnight, Night Watch, explosive round Better Devils, or Spare Rations. Those guns are the greater choice. Anytime you can get explosive rounds, and it's one of the guns you can use for that DLC that has anti-barrier, that's going to be the better choice always for 100 different situations. Not only the ones that I've shown you, you'll find and unlock new ways your own self through your own journey and own adventure through Destiny. And again, PC weapons are not going to fire the same as console weapons, so you need to look at it that way as well. If you're a console player, You need weapons that have that fast lock-on time and give you better strategies and more survival situations and more utility during combat, and that's what explosive rounds give you, especially on console. You need that utility of combat, you need that staggering, you need that overall greater damage that can just make you get in the middle of combat and learn how to maneuver around these ads to really just crush them. Anyways, man, I'm gonna get out of here, but trust me, that Nameless Midnight, don't sleep on it, man. I don't care what anybody's telling you online. Nameless Midnight explosive round, if you can get high impact reserves on it also, I believe that's the most amount of damage you can get without adding kill clip and rampage, but just, you know, a per target without having to proc those perks. High impact reserves and explosive rounds, and then that drop mag to keep feeding it back and forth. It's really beast, man. But again, my name's Ristopoulos. If you want to join the B Squad, I'd really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you want more knowledge and info and videos and all that shebang. But y'all take it easy, bros, and I'll see you all next time.
In space.